Welcome. Today we're diving into some recent developments in prostate cancer research. We've got sources covering clinical trials and some really interesting preclinical work.
That's right. Our goal is basically to pull out the key information on potential new treatments coming down the pipeline.
So let's start with the clinical trials. These are the ones actually being tested in patients.
Okay, first on the list is JNX007. This is from Janux Therapeutics.
Ah, yes, the PSMA targeting therapy. That's prostate-specific membrane antigen. It's a tumor-activated T-cell engager, or TRACTR.
Exactly. It's designed to get the body's own T cells to attack the cancer. They're looking at it in metastatic castration-resistant prostate cancer, mCRPC.
And they've moved into a phase 1b expansion.
They have, yeah. That follows some promising results from the initial phase 1A dose escalation part of the study.
Okay, what did that phase 1a data show?
Well, the data cutoff was April 21st, 2025. They had 16 mCRPC patients enrolled. These were pretty heavily pretreated patients, a median of 4 prior therapies.
Right, and the outcome.
The key measure, median radiographic progression-free survival RPFS, basically how long before the cancer visibly grows on scans, was 7.5 months across everybody.
7.5 months. And was there a dose response?
It seems like it. For the patients who got the higher doses, 6 milligrams and 9 milligrams, the median RPFS was a bit better, 7.9 months.
Interesting. What about survival rates at specific time points?
At the 6-month mark, the RPFS rate was 65% for all patients, and it jumped to 78% for those on the higher 6 and 9 milligram doses.
And safety. Always a concern with these T-cell engagers.
The safety profile was reported as consistent with previous updates, so it seems to be reasonably well tolerated so far.
Good to hear. So what's the plan for this phase 1b expansion?
They're starting with mCRPC patients who haven't had taxane chemotherapy yet, the taxane-naive group.
And testing different doses.
Yes, 2 regimens. One ramping up to 6 milligrams, the other up to 9 milligrams, starting at 0.3, then 2. And they're looking at giving it either weekly or every 2 weeks.
So quite a few variables there.
Definitely. And there are more phase 1b studies planned too.
Mm.
Things like combining JNX007 with androgen receptor drugs in patients after taxanes.
Okay.
Using it as monotherapy in patients resistant to PRP inhibitors,
Yeah.
that's poly-ADP ribose polymerase inhibitors,
Right.
and also in patients already treated with next-gen hormone therapies and taxane. So
Yeah.
quite a broad exploration.
The goal being?
The main goal is to really nail down the best dose and schedule to take into the bigger registrational trials needed for approval.
Makes sense. And Janux mentioned more data coming later this year.
Yeah, for both JNX07 and also JNX008, which is a similar trait ETR but targets EGFR, the epidermal growth factor receptor.
Okay, let's move on. What's next in the clinical trial space?
There's Penetrium from Hyundai Bioscience. It's currently in a phase 1 trial in South Korea, also for prostate cancer.
Penetrium. What's the idea behind this one?
It's designed to overcome what are called cold tumors.
Mm-hmm.
Tumors the immune system doesn't easily recognize or attack, and also metastatic cancer.
How does it do that?
It targets and remodels the extracellular matrix, the ECM. That's the sort of scaffolding around tumor cells. The thinking is that this ECM can block immune cells and even drugs from getting to the tumor, causing a kind of pseudo-resistance.
Interesting approach. What's the actual drug?
The active ingredient is niclosamide. Now, this drug actually has a known safety profile in humans already. It was tested in a phase 2 trial for COVID-19.
Ah, okay. So not entirely new in that sense.
Right. And in the required preclinical safety studies, the dose used was less than 9% of the level where they saw no adverse effects, the NOAL.
Got it. Any other clinical trials starting up?
Yes, one more to mention here. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, approved an investigational new drug application in IND for a compound called NTS071.
NTS071, what is it?
It's a novel, oral small molecule drug.
Mm.
It's specifically designed to target a mutation in the P53 gene.
P53, the big tumor suppressor gene. Which mutation?
The Y220C mutation, that's tyrosine 220 cysteine.
And when will trials start?
It's expected to enter phase 1 clinical trials in the second half of 2025.
How does it work?
It binds directly to that mutated P53 protein. The idea is to stabilize the protein and sort of coax it back into its normal tumor-suppressing function.
Is this mutation common in prostate cancer?
It's actually less common in prostate cancer compared to some others, but NTS071 is being developed as a tumor-agnostic therapy.
Meaning it could work for any cancer type as long as it has that specific Y220C mutation.
Exactly. So while maybe not a huge group within prostate cancer, it could be an option for those patients who do have this alteration.
Okay, that covers the clinical trials currently underway or about to start. Let's shift gears to the preclinical findings. These are earlier stage, mostly lab and animal studies.
Right, and let's circle back to Penetrium first, as there's preclinical data for that too.
What did those studies show?
They reported significant efficacy across several different cancer models, for example in triple-negative breast cancer, or TNBC,
Mm,
when they combined Penetrium with an anti-programmed cell death 1 or anti-PD-1 immunotherapy.
A checkpoint inhibitor.
Yes. That combo reduced tumor size by 48.3% compared to just the anti-PD-1 alone. And maybe even more striking, metastasis was apparently eliminated in the combination group in that model.
Wow, eliminated. That's strong wording for preclinical. What about other cancers?
In a metastatic lung cancer model, Penetrium paired with bevacizumab, that's an anti-angiogenesis drug.
Right, cuts off blood supply.
It achieved complete suppression of lung metastasis at a certain dose, 100 milligrams per kilogram. Bevacizumab alone only managed 33% suppression in that specific experiment.
So a significant improvement there, too.
And another lung cancer model, this time combining Penetrium with the chemotherapy drug Paclitaxel.
How did that go?
The combo reduced the area of metastatic lesions by over 70 to 80% compared to controls. It suggests Penetrium might boost chemotherapy effectiveness, and importantly, they said without increasing toxicity in these models.
Did they test it in anything closer to, well, naturally occurring cancer?
They did mention data from naturally occurring canine mammary cancer, so breast cancer in dogs. There, Penetrium combined with something called Pioglitazone reduced the primary tumor volume by up to about 39%.
And metastasis.
The metastatic lymph node lesions showed an even greater reduction, up to nearly 79%.
Okay, quite a range of positive preclinical signals for Penetrium. What about TS071, the p53Y220C drug?
Yes, impressive preclinical performance reported for that one too. It was developed using an artificial intelligence platform.
AI in drug discovery becoming more common.
Indeed, and they claim NTS071 is 20 times more potent than the leading alternative compound targeting this mutation, achieving activity down at the picomolar level. That's very potent.
And how does it behave in the body pharmacokinetically?
Animal models apparently showed improvements there too. Better stability, it's cleared more slowly from the body, and you get higher drug levels after taking it orally.
Any potential issues like drug interactions?
They specifically mention it seems to avoid common issues with the cytochrome P450-3A4 enzyme system, or CYP3A4, which is involved in metabolizing many drugs. That's a plus.
And safety overall?
Initial toxicology studies suggest a favorable safety profile. And in terms of efficacy, the preclinical data showed dose-dependent tumor shrinkage in several models. It seemed effective at lower doses than alternatives.
So, looking promising as it heads towards phase 1. Anything else in the preclinical pipeline?
Yes, UTRXM118. This is a really novel approach. It's a messenger ribonucleic acid, or mRNA, destabilizing therapy.
Okay, how does that work?
It specifically targets the messenger RNA for the c-MYC oncogene. c-MYC is a well-known driver of many cancers, including aggressive prostate cancer.
And it destabilizes the mRNA, so less c-MYC protein gets made.
Precisely. It uses a proprietary technology focused on the 3' untranslated region, the 3UTR, of the mRNA to trigger its degradation in tumor cells.
What did the animal studies show?
Strong efficacy reported reducing tumor growth and metastasis. And crucially, they didn't observe dose-limiting toxicities, even at high doses in these preclinical models.
That lack of toxicity is key. You mentioned c-MYC is relevant for prostate cancer.
Very relevant. Overexpression of c-MYC is often linked to more aggressive, treatment-resistant forms of the disease.
Does it have a delivery system? Getting mRNA therapies into tumors can be tricky.
They say the delivery system is designed to enhance targeting specificity and minimize side effects, but details weren't in this summary.
Is this heading to clinic soon?
An IND application has been submitted to the FDA. The plan is for initial phase 1 trials to start in 2026.
For prostate cancer?
Initially, the focus will be on triple-negative breast, pancreatic, colorectal, and ovarian cancers. But, given the c-MYC link, there's definite potential for prostate cancer down the road.
Okay, one last piece of research to cover this one involves repurposing an existing drug.
That's right. Research published in the journal Molecular Cancer. It suggests the diabetes drug Pioglitazone might have activity against prostate cancer.
Pioglitazone, how might that work?
The researchers identified a molecular link involving something called peroxisome proliferator activated receptor gamma.
Or PPRO.
PPR, yeah. Pioglitazone is known to activate this receptor. In their studies in cell cultures and actual patient tissue samples, activating PPR gamma seemed to alter the metabolism of the prostate cancer cells and inhibited their growth.
Interesting. Did they look at actual patients?
There was some initial patient data mentioned, prostate cancer patients who also had diabetes and were being treated with PPR gamma agonists like Pioglitazone.
Okay.
Those patients showed no signs of cancer relapse during the observation period.
No, that's intriguing, but needs caveats, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is very early stage research in the context of cancer treatment. And that observation was in patients already taking the drug for diabetes. We definitely need proper clinical studies specifically designed for prostate cancer patients, particularly those without diabetes, before drawing any firm conclusions.
Understood. So, quite a range of developments we've discussed today.
Yeah, from uh, targeted immunotherapies like JNX007 moving forward in trials to novel ways to tackle drug resistance like Penetrium or targeting specific mutations like NTS071.
And entirely new modalities like the mRNA degrader, UTRXM118, plus the potential repurposing of pioglitazone. It's a broad spectrum.
It really is. Some are much further along than others, of course, but they all represent potential new avenues for treating prostate cancer.
It's definitely crucial for everyone to keep watching how these trials and research projects progress. Their ultimate impact on patient care is what really matters.
Couldn't agree more. Following the data as it emerges is key.
Stay strong and fight on.